This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Friday, September the 1st. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the Caribbean Development Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank have pledged to pour up to $300 million into the Barbados economy on condition that the International Monetary Fund endorses Barbados' Economic and Recovery Transformation Plan, now known as BERT. Economist Dr. Kevin Greenwich, a member of the Barbados' Joint Economic Team, yesterday announced that the Washington-based IDB has agreed to provide government with $200 million in funding, while the Barbados headquarters CDB has promised $100 million.
By endorsing the BERT's program, the IMF then provides what you call a catalytic role, because it has an international reputation by having 186 countries signed on. And when investors see the fund say, well, this is the BERT's program is a doable program, we believe the country is committed to it, then immediately development partners like IDB and CDB will bring access to funds. Money is coming in on that. Funds comes in, and I can tell you right now we have commitments from IDB, 2% in GDP, which is $200 million, signing that the IMF endorses the Barbados BERT program, and 100 from CDB.
The Barbados International Busines Association gives the assurance that this country remains a jurisdiction of integrity and that the sector has not suffered any noticeable fallout as a result of former Government Minister Donville Innes's money laundering charges in the U.S. Now, earlier this month, Attorney General Dale Marshall said the island's investment and international business reputation had been tarnished as a result of Innes's current legal troubles in the U.S. However, President of the BIBA, Julia Hope, tells Barbados Today she has been following up with sector representatives to get a feel of what the sentiment is, and there hasn't been anything. In other news now, Queen's Counsel Hal Gollop says it's time government starts appointing people to head state agencies in spite of their political persuasion. Gollop, who is chairman of the Employment Rights Tribunal, having been appointed by the former Francis Stewart administration, strongly suggests that persons ought to be selected on merit alone.
When everything is said and done, the pool is not so large, you know. The pool to draw from is not so large. And there has to be a greater willingness to appoint people on merit, whether they are known to be party supporters or not. Quite naturally, a person, a minister, or whoever the person in charge is, will feel more comfortably acting, having a party sympathizer working as head of his board. But I think the time must come when the minister should feel more comfortably when he has a competent person who we know will do a job that would best exemplify a level of integrity and ability in the office.
One of the organizations representing the privately run public service vehicle operators wants commuters prosecuted for stopping ZRs and minibuses outside of bus stops. Public Relations Officer for the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, Mark Haynes, is contending that PSV drivers who breach the road traffic laws by stopping anywhere other than at bus stops should not have to take all the blame.
We are somewhat disappointed that today's government has not enacted the requisite legislation to penalize commuters along with the drivers for stopping vehicles at a bus stop. No? This is something that we feel strongly about. We think that this will help curb the indiscipline and so on. This is one of the measures that government move assiduously to have this legislated, where commuters as well as drivers will be penalized, and not only the drivers. So it forces the driver to stop only at a bus stop. And we think that will go a far way in terms of addressing this situation.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. The Trinidad government is not backing down from its decision to close the state-owned refinery Petrotrin, even in the face of threats of chaos by the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. And it's going to cost over $1 billion to send home the 1,700 workers whose jobs are to be terminated once the closure of the refinery takes effect. TV6 News' Joel Brown reports.
As they await the date of the closure of the state-owned refinery, Energy Minister Franklin Khan says, quote, there's a lot of milling through the numbers to be done, end quote, regarding the retrenchment of the employees who work there, as an early retirement package is to be offered to those over the age of 55.
And then we'd have I don't want to call it a severance, but an exit package for other workers who are younger, and that formula is still being worked out. But the figure will be huge, it will be large, because first and foremost, the base salary of Petrotrin is big. So because any calculation obviously will have to be on base salary.
Are you talking about the hundreds of millions or $1 billion plus? You say huge.
I would say it will be significantly more than $1 billion. The termination benefits for the workers, the packages, could be in excess of $1 billion.
And that is to be paid by taxpayers, yes?
It's part of the cost structure of this reorganization. But that is a small figure compared to the hemorrhaging lost on an annual basis.
And on the international scene, top NAFTA negotiators from Canada and the United States increased the pace of their negotiations yesterday to resolve final differences to meet a deadline of today, with their Mexican counterpart on standby to join the talks soon. The details from Reuters Television.
Talks between Canada and the U.S. intensified Thursday as negotiators wrangled over details on a deal to revamp the North America Free Trade Agreement by a Friday deadline. Canadian Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland sitting down for a third day of marathon talks in Washington, hoping to salvage the 24-year-old accord that accounts for $1 trillion in annual trade.
Good afternoon. Good to see you guys. As we said, our officials did some work. They prepared some issues for me and Ambassador Lighthizer to take some decisions. And we're about to go in, continue negotiating, and do precisely that.
Thank you, Enrique, and congratulations. That's really a fantastic thing. We've all worked very hard.
Bargaining kicked into high gear this week after President Donald Trump announced a proposed bilateral trade deal with Mexico, threatening to cut Canada out of the pact entirely.
We're negotiating with them right now, and they want to be a part of the deal. And we gave till Friday, and I think we're probably on track. We'll see what happens, but in any event, things are working out very well.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now, you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.